right, guys, I just passed out to you two things. You have your notes, a very thick note packet. We're only going to hit a very small portion of it today. And then I gave you, for me it is, yeah. And then I gave you a yellow paper. Now, you're going to learn with me, if I give you something on colored paper, it's important, okay? Because I want it to be able to stand out when you're flipping through a binder, you can find it. Also, typically, on your final exam at the end of the semester, I will let you use any colored papers that I've given you throughout the year on your exam. But you can't write on them. Everybody got that? You can put your name on it, and that's about it. I'm taking it away, and you can't use it on your exam. Okay? But any colored papers, typically I'm like, you can use a colored paper on the exam, so don't write on them. It will be. You can put your name on it. Yep, that's it, just name. Other than that, it's a reference, okay? All right, so we are going to get into factoring, which is a skill we will use all semester long. And if you go into pre-calc next year, you'll use it a lot in pre-calc as well, okay? So first thing, though, I'm going to jump out of order today. So I need you to flip in your notes to where it says day 2. It's Friday, and I didn't want to start on day 1 because it's actually harder than the very beginning of day 2. We're not doing all of day 2. I'm only going to do a small part of it today, okay? So flip, flip, flip until you find day 2. What's the? I don't know the Friday song. Oh, man, now I got to look up the Friday song. Am I making you flip to day 2? Oh, I'm sorry. Well, yeah. When I did these notes, my daughter was sitting near me at the time, and that's what she said it should be. So I'm like, okay, we'll do Disney princesses. I hate boring, just black and white notes, so I put pretty pictures on them. It just happened to be what I was, you know. Up here, they're not. Sorry. All right. So if you look at the yellow paper I gave you, the very top heading is factor. So everything we're going to be doing here for the next week or so is all factoring. And I tried to break it down. This is your flow chart of factoring. If you look right below factor, the very first thing it says is GCF. Let me know what greatest common factor. What? Yeah, it's blank on your paper, so you should fill in GCF on your notes. It's blanked out on your notes. Go to day 2. There we go. Now she's with it. Thank you. All right, so guys, if the directions say to factor, the first thing you always look for is a greatest common factor. And we'll do that first. Okay, the rest of the flow chart we'll get to next week. All right, so greatest common factor is what is the biggest number that divides into all parts? And again, keeping in mind, I have to be fair. Right? I got 3 kids. If I would buy a toy for these 2 and not the 3rd child, what's going to happen? They're going to throw a holy fit, right? It happens all the time. A holy fit. Okay, so we got to be fair. If I'm going to buy something, I got to do all 3 of them. I can't be. That's why they get a cheaper toy, because there's 3 of them. There's too many of them. All right, so we got to be fair. It's got to go into everything. So what is the biggest number that goes into 6 and 8? Good. Biggest number that goes into 12 and 20? 24 and 36? It's 12. 12. All right. Now, every year I have students who can look at those numbers and be like, 12, and not even think twice about it. And then I have other students who sit there and go, how did you know that? Right? It happens all the time. Okay, so if you're the one that's sitting there going I don't know how they did that, here's where you're going to be at. It means you're probably a little lower in your multiplication skills, your multiplication facts, okay? And that's all right. I always let you use calculator. But what you're going to do, and I'll go over here since these numbers are bigger, you'd be looking at what do you multiply to get each number. So I can go 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8, or 4 times 6. Do you notice my nice, neat, ordered list? Do you see how I went in order? 1, 2, 3, right? You guys see that? Okay, nice and orderly. And then I would look at 36. I'm like, all right, 1 and 36, 2 and 18, 3 and 12, 4 and 9, 6 and 6. And then I look at my two lists. What's the biggest number that shows up in both lists? It is 12. Yes, sir? Well, I would go 5 next, which doesn't, and then I'd go to 6, and it's already on my list. So then I'm working my way back up. Good question, because I see students who do that. They get this list going, and then next thing they write is 6 and 4, 8 and 3, and I'm like, hello, it's already on your list. Stop, okay? Once you've hit the numbers and you're circling back up the list, you can stop. Right? So those of you who are, you may have a lot more work ahead of you if the numbers just don't come easy. But does that make sense what I did? I just looked at what was the biggest number that went into both. Biggest number in both my lists. Okay? Okay, what if I throw variables in? Now I need to take that into consideration as well. Okay, so what about 2x and 6? 2. Why is an x not part of that? The 6 doesn't have one. Okay, so by the same analogy of I have to be fair, it has to go from all of them, right, that I just talked about with my kids. Let's say all 3 of them did something and got in trouble. And I decided these 2, I'm going to take their toys away, but I let that child keep their toys. That's not fair, right? No, hang with my analogy here. Okay, so in other words, because what we're going to be doing with the GCFs is we're going to divide them out, right? We're taking them out of each number. So I have to be able to take it from all of them. This one doesn't have an x. So therefore, I can't say I'm taking an x away from everyone because he doesn't have one to give me. Okay, they have to be able to pull it from everything. So what about GCF between 3x and 12x? Be 3x. Because 3 divides into both, and I can take an x from both. They both have it. What about 8x squared and 20x? 4x. Why not 4x squared? Yeah, he doesn't have 2 of them to take, right? He's only got the 1. How are we doing so far? GCFs? Okay, let's now look at actually factoring it out. So we discovered what it is. Now let's factor it out. So what is the GCF between 3x and 15? 3. Not an x? Nope, because that one doesn't have one, right? So you will write the GCF out in front, what you're taking away, and then we actually divide it out. So what we're doing is dividing both of those by that GCF. So 3x divided by 3, there's a plus. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So I factored out the GCF. So really, what did you undo? You undid the distributing, right? And distribute to check. 3 times x, 3x, 3 times 5, 15. I know I'm good. So should you ever miss these? No, you should never miss these. Guys, you can check every answer. Make sure it works. All right, what about the next one? What number goes into all of those? Not 4? Does 4 go into 18? No. Can I take an x? 12 doesn't have an x. Those do, but he doesn't. Remember, I got 3 kids. You got to take it from all of them. I'm mean mom. I'm punishing them. I'm taking as much as I can from all of them. Mean mom. All right, and then we're dividing. What we're doing is we're dividing all of these then by 2. Minus 6. Good.
So you only do one step is division?
Yes. Yep, we're just dividing by whatever it is. Okay, how about the next one? What number goes in all those? 3? Can I take any x's? No, because 12 doesn't have any, right? Okay, divide them all by 3. What do we get? Plus just 15? There you go. Minus. All right, so there was just a very basic pulling out one GCF. How are we feeling? Now let me ask again, how many of you have learned how to do this before? I got a few more hands on there. Okay. We'll get there. We'll get there. All right, so let's try again. Let's do that top one. What goes into 24x to the fourth minus 8x cubed plus 32x squared? 8x squared. All right, now every year I have students try to tell me it's 4x squared. Does 4x go into all of them? It goes into them all, but it's not the biggest. And we'll talk about that again here in just a minute, but I want to show you something. All right, so if I'm dividing out 8x squared, 24 divided by 8. I had 4x's, I took 2, so I have x squared left over. Okay, 8 divided by 8 is 1, and then I have 1x left, right? There was 3, I took 2. 32 divided by 8 is 4. I had 2 x's, I took 2. There's none left. Now, let me show you, just so you can kind of see the comparison. What if you had taken out 4x squared? Because you know it's going to happen at some point, right? Where you think you have the biggest, but you actually didn't. And I want you to see how you can notice that. So if I took out 4x squared, I'd have 6x squared. 8 divided by 4 would give me 2x. 32 divided by 4 is 8, and then no x's. Yes, look at all your numbers. They all divide by 2. So one of the things I want you to try to get in your mind as you're doing these, look at what you have left in your parentheses. If there's still a common factor, it means you didn't take out the biggest. Does that make sense? That'll help you out. Just that real quick look, because usually it's a 2 or 3 probably still goes back into it. Okay? If you would give me this as an answer on the test, it's wrong. You have to take out the greatest common factor. No, I'd probably take off 1 or 2. As long as you took it out correctly. But you'd lose points because it wasn't the biggest one. All right. Why don't you guys try this one on your own? 15x cubed plus 27x squared. All right, guys. So what was the GCF between these? Good. 3x squared. Right? I can take 2 from each of them. I can't take 3 because he doesn't have 3 to give me. Right? Okay, divide it out. So 15 divided by 3. I had 3 x's. I took 2. There's still 1 left. Plus 27 divided by 3 is 9. 2 x's. I took them. They're gone. And I do my double check. Does something go into 5 and 9? No. So then I know I took out the biggest common factor. Okay. And then the last one over there, what goes into both of those? 5xy. Because again, take a look. 5 goes into both my numbers. That one has 2 x's, he has 1, so the most I could take is just the 1. Y and y cubed, the most I could take is just 1, because the other guy doesn't have any more than that to give. All right, so if we divide that out, 20 divided by 5. There was 2 x's, I took 1, 1 left. There was a y, and I took it, so no more y's. 35 divided by 5. 1x, I took it. There was 3 y's, and I took 1. So there's 2 y's left over. Yay? That's as far as I want to go in notes today. Yep, I want to stop there on notes.